Dan Pontefract, and this is my series called The Basics of Working from Home. I've worked from home for about 18 years now, and so I have a 6-part series here. In today's episode, getting organized and being productive. Let's start with some levity, a mug from Amazon. I'm great at multitasking. I can waste time, be unproductive, and procrastinate all at once. Not the best mug if you're working from home, of course, because we don't want to be doing this. We're not multitaskers. We need to get organized and be productive because that's part of our gig. That's what our job description says, right? We're going to do stuff. So the first thing I want you to do is wear shoes. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you have a shower, you get dressed, you put on shoes to go to work. You don't put on slippers. You don't go barefoot. You don't put on sandals, right? They're Tevas. What do? You put on shoes. Now, I'm not talking dress shoes, although if that's your fancy, go for it. I'm just talking about comfortable shoes. This means that you are going to work. So whatever your home office is and how you've created the situation at home, put on shoes, go to work. Then, start the day alone. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I want you to be spending 10-15 minutes just in isolation, no pun intended, assessing what it is that you need to be doing for the day. What didn't you get to maybe yesterday? Looking ahead for the particular day. Be in your own thoughts. Maybe look at your calendar. Maybe look at the tasks ahead. Don't take a meeting. Don't answer the phone. Don't do email. Just collect yourself. Be in your own thoughts and say, what do I need to do to be productive and getting things done today? Don't forget, remember to tame those distraction monsters. Right away, if you start answering texts and emails, you're in a meeting and you're like, oh, da, da, da. Okay. You need to put things into perspective. Just because you're working from home now doesn't mean you need to address every distraction and attention grabber that comes into your purview, right? Be patient, be calm, get to the things when you have to get to them. Do not let those distractions and interruptions eat up your day. Now, also like you start with the morning, I want you to end the day with a 10 to 15 minute recap, right? You're not commuting anymore. So at least use that time to again pause, reflect, and say, okay, what did I get done? What do I need to do tomorrow? And how might I plan myself better, right? That's a sensible thing to do. You pick that up in the next morning to again reflect and say, all right, did anything change overnight? I slept on it. What more do I have to do differently? Now, when you're in an office, at the building that you go to typically, right, there's kind of what we call white noise, right? So maybe you're in an open office concept and you're hearing telephones, you're hearing chit-chat, you're hearing pitter-patter of steps, whatever, right? Even when you're in an office and you be able to close the door, you still hear a hum, right, of what's happening in the building itself. You're not going to necessarily have a hum, and so what you might want to consider is white noise at home. Maybe you have a Bluetooth speaker, right? Maybe you've got a headset. Do you have ability to go download some of the apps or some of the kind of radio stations that are out there that allow coffee kind of chatter to happen, that allow white noise like a fan or rain or water washing on shore? All of this, right? If you're in a quiet solitude house and you're not used to it, you actually might be unknowingly distracted by the quiet. So just think about what you need to be successful in terms of what that white noise concept has to be. I have a 50-10 rule when I'm working from home and I'm not in meetings, I'm like doing work, writing, whatever it is. I work for 50 minutes and then I take 10 minutes and I go out. I go outside, I go for a walk around the block, I go to the beach. I might check an email or two, that's fine, but I get out of the room. And that's important because this sort of fresh start every hour, if it's possible, is what I like to do. So I call it the 50-10, 50 work, 10 get out, and then come back again. Again, that's if I'm not in a meeting of sorts, whether it's on the phone or a web meeting. Resist the urge to do what? To go to the fridge. Mine's a bit over there. And if I were going to the fridge just because it's right there, I would turn into a 300-pound individual. That's not good, right? For many different reasons. So if you can resist the urge on those 50-10 breaks, just go up and sort of pop some, whatever, sugar, anything into your body. Too much food is not good for you. Of course, good snacking is appropriate, but don't go to the fridge just because, right? Just because it's there doesn't mean you need to go address it. So just a fridge tip for you. Now, you're working from home, and whether you're an introvert, ambivert, or extrovert, doesn't matter. We all need human contact. And at some point, depending on your scale or spectrum, you're going to feel lonely. So that's all right? It's not going to feel great, but your job, right, whether it's the 50-10 or just allocating some time, is to reach out to people. Talk about some specific actions to take later in a different episode, but just recognize now that your loneliness may impact your productivity, might impact the way in which you're getting, perhaps disorganized. It's okay. Just recognize that it might happen. Now, you're at home, and again, you're individually isolated by yourself, and there might be all kinds of things coming at you over your internet, web, and the laptop. I want you to think about how those actions and things that might not quite make sense because you're not having the body language or the physical contact, the hallways, I want you to write it down. Meaning, when things pop up either in your head or because you're at a meeting or you saw this email, start jotting things down about, oh, that's interesting, or oh, I better remember that, or oh, I've got this idea. All of it. Now, whether you use a note-making or taking app or Evernote or you write it down on physical pen and paper, I don't care. Just start recognizing that there's going to be differences in the way in which you're working. The productivity improvement is to write it down. Right? What comes into your head and the actions that are needed for you to remember them in a different point in time. 1. What's the 1 stand for? Is focus on one thing at a time. I can't stress this enough. You're at home and it's real easy for you to start looking around and say, what else can I do here? Even when you're just working on your laptop in your home office or whatever you've set up, you're like, I could do this more, I could do this, I could have 2 screens going at the same time. No, please don't do that. Just focus on one thing and do that one thing well and then move on to the next thing. That is going to get you so much more organized and productive. And remember, you can always put this sign up there. I'll be back in 10 minutes, but if I'm not, just read this message again. A little light humor for you. All right, that's another episode of The Basics of Working from Home. My name is Dan Pontefract. Thanks for watching.